you ever had to put together a really difficult jigsaw puzzle? You know, one of thousands of pieces with different shapes and different colors and geometric patterns? Well, prophecy is like that. And that's probably why there's so many different interpretations, because you need to have an authoritative guide to follow. Well, you need the picture on the box. Then you can follow that and put all the pieces together logically and in order. Well, I've found the picture on the box in the Bible. It's not where most people think it is. It's not in the book of Revelation. Instead, it comes from no less an authority than Jesus Christ himself. And you'd think he'd know, being the Son of God, the pattern of events that would take place before his return. Well, where do you find this picture on the box? It's in the Gospels of Luke, Mark, and Matthew. Luke 21, Mark 13, and Matthew 24. Now we're going to use just Matthew 24 and Luke 21 because Mark 13 is just a slightly shorter version of Matthew 24. It came about when the disciples were walking away with Jesus from the city of Jerusalem. They got up on top of the Mount of Olives, then they turned and looked at the beautiful temple, and the disciples were remarking how gorgeous it was. And Jesus turned to them and said, "You see this? Not one stone will be left upon another before it's going to be destroyed." Well, that shocked the disciples, and they asked him some questions about this. The first of the questions was, when will these things happen? And in Luke chapter 21, there's a second question that comes. It says, what will be the sign when these things are about to take place? And so Luke focuses Jesus' answer on answering those two questions. And in so doing, it becomes what I call a telescopic prophecy that goes from back then to the present. The most of it has to do with answering that question, what will the signs be that the temple will be destroyed? And so it focuses on the wars and rumors of wars and the fact that the Romans were going to come up against the city and they were going to destroy it and exile the people in 70 AD. And then it jumps forward to 1948. See the telescopic prophecy? 1948 is almost 1900 years later. When the second part of that prophecy is fulfilled, Jerusalem will be trodden underfoot by the Gentiles, and then the end will come. Following that, it goes quickly to the second coming of Christ, where Jesus splits the sky open and the signs of the sun and moon and the stars are all there. And Jesus says, when you see these things, lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. Now, on the other hand, Matthew chapter 24 has a third question. First, when will these things happen? And then the third question that is asked is, what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? And what Matthew does is he lays out the signs of his coming in a logical and coherent order. He uses words like then and after, so we know that there's a time element involved. And so briefly, it goes from the birth pangs to the fact that the gospel will be preached into all the world and then the end will come. Then the time of the Antichrist and the abomination of desolation. After that, the great tribulation and great persecution. And then the signs in the sky come and the judgment of God comes upon the earth, and Jesus comes afterwards and takes us home to be with him. That is the picture on the box. And in subsequent episodes, I'm going to be looking at each one of those separately, each one of those signs, and talk about how what are happening today. What is happening today is actually being fulfilled or about to be fulfilled, so that we know that Jesus is coming soon. We can lift up our heads and know that our redemption is coming nigh.